Recording in progress.
Hi there. This is Inside Tracks.co.uk. We're here to try and help you trade smarter. We do newsletters, we do these videos, we're on Facebook. And if you do like this video, do like it and share it and sign up to subscribe to get the new ones. Today, I'm just going to very briefly go through some ways to make fairly easy money. Going in play, I'm not really an in-play person, but to try and stick to pre-race trading, scalping, and I do back to laying. But there is a time when going in play, there is quite easy money to be made, and I'm going to show you what sort of races and how that can be done. So let's move on to have a quick look at some recordings. So here we are in a 410 at Lingfield, 3 mile, 5 furlongs. So it's quite a long race, very long race, in fact. And it's a chase. And we see that one of the main market leaders is Move the Chains. And if we have a quick look at what's happened to him, in the first part of the race, Move the Chains has moved from 2.97 out to nearly 4.5. And that's in the first few furlongs of the race. So what you've got to turn around to yourself and say is that small part of a race, this horse has been going for quite some time at just under 2, just under 3, sorry, and now it's going up and down. Can you see there's quite a lot of activity here? So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this horse, and we're going to see why it's actually happening. So if we're looking at Move the Chains, that horse is sitting at the back, and we just need to hear what's going on. And it looks like if you're listening to the commentary, and actually I'll probably just mute it. We've got 2 of the horses, Art of Illusion, which is this one, and Another. I think it's Check It Out. I think those 2 have gone off a bit hard. With 3.5 mile chase race, got 2 horses going off quite hard. We've got a 3rd horse, 4th horse, 5th horse, and 6th horse. But there's actually, when you look at it, it's only about maybe that's 8 lengths or so between the front 2 who are 5 lengths in front of the 3rd, who's probably about 5 lengths in front of Move the Chains. So you've got to turn around to yourself and say, why the hell is Move the Chains moving out to sort of 5 odd to 1, or 5 on 4 to 1, 5 on Betfair, currently sitting 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. Why is that happening when, in fact, it's a 3.5 mile race? They've got to go around at least once more. That's when they get to the finishing line. So we've got to ask ourselves what is going on here and why is that happening? And I would say the easy way, and I was just about to say, we need to be back in this Move the Chains at 4.5, 4.3 there, and we're seeing it come back in. Now, if that goes out to 4, we should be backing it, because there is no reason in the world why Move the Chains really hasn't been jumping badly, hasn't been doing anything wrong. But it was 2.97 when it went off, and it went out to 5, and now look at it, it's back into 3.4. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's running perfectly fine. Look at it. It's caught up with the last 2. Yes, it was out the back. This is a 3.5 mile race. Now look at it. How far ahead is that one to the last place? It's only about 6 lengths, 7 lengths now instead of the 10 lengths. So people look at races in a very strange way. They go, oh, it's at the back. Oh, it's not doing very well. Oh, well, we better not back it. Look, it's gone right back out of 4.5. We should be backing it at 4.5. Back it at 4.5, but what's wrong with it? He's not struggling. He's not giving it the rush. So the race is over, as you saw in that race, and we were watching it in this part here. As you saw, this was 1.97. Sorry, 2.97. The Betfair starting price. 2.97 was here. And then for some reason, because he was out the back, he goes out to sort of 5, 4.5, 5. It's down to 5, 20% chance. This is the chance of him winning. So 20% chance is 5. So he comes down to there. and he's sat down here, and he goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Quite a lot of movement there. Still quite a lot of movement here. We didn't see the race, but in fact, someone made a break for it. He struggled to pick up pace, but it's a 3.5 miler, and it was considerable distance actually from home. It's only about what is that? 1, 2, 3, only about 2/3 of the way through. So it's still a mile at least to go, and he's not picking up his pace. And so, but people think, oh no, he's not going to win. So they put him right out. I don't know what actually his high point was, but it was below. Well, it was certainly into 10% would be 10s. So he must have gone out to about 20, maybe 30, 33, 34. So he goes right out to 34. Then the one that's made a dash for it doesn't do very well. Then he starts looking like he's running past beaten horses. Suddenly, he's gone from 34 up to 1.4. His lowest was 1.4, and clearly that then put him in conflict with the one of the better horses. Well, actually, he was quite a long price horse, and he lost out in that battle around about between second and last jump. And then obviously clearly once you go 2 lengths behind coming to the last, and then another length behind going away, suddenly the price will go through the floor, and his chances went from 60%, so 1 point whatever that would be, 1.8 to 1,000 in the space of only a few hundred yards. But the point I'm trying to make is not anything really to do with this bit here, this last third, although I have to say a favourite who didn't look out of it to me, goes down to 30 odds, and then into 1.4 in the space of a few hundred meters, a couple of jumps. It is quite remarkable, to be frank. And that's what it is about racing and about in play, is that how on earth is any of this happening, really? Any of this up to here, right? This is from 3 miles 5 when they go off, 3 miles 5 to run. After about 100 meters, he's dropped. 2.97 to 4.5, wasn't it? We were seeing 4.5, 4.8. So he's moved from that in the space of nothing. And he's not done anything. He's just not leading, that's all. And a couple of them went off a bit strong. Then what you see is quite a lot of variability. In fact, much, much more variability than you'd get pre-race. All the way in, this is quite a big variability here. And as I was saying to you, just before we stopped the video, 4.5, you were backing him at 4.5. You had to be. And then because he's always going to then come back it down into 3.7, 3.8, which he did. And in fact, what happened in the end was he was going out to 4.5, 4.7. He actually came into well below 3. In fact, below his starting price, we were to 2.8 or so. So we were getting, and could have, back to later, scalped for reasonable money here, 0.4, 0.5, 0.4, 0.5, regularly, because it's a long distance race. And so long as there's nothing wrong, like the horse hasn't shattered into one, really knocked the stuffing out of him on the second, or nearly unseated his rider, and his rider's wandering around with no irons and lost 20 lengths, I don't know. As long as nothing's really happened apart from the fact that he's not leading, and he's 10 lengths behind, it's no reason for this horse to go from 2.97 to 4.5. There's no reason whatsoever. That's 1.5 points you've just been given by other people on the exchange. And the 1.5 points is a lot. And not only is it a lot, that you got 1.5 points immediately, and then they were giving you half a point back, 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 half a point, 1.5 points back, half a point back. So you are getting multiple occasions to back and lay and get half a point through door, and you will never, ever get those sorts of opportunities pre-race. So in play, in these long distance races where you see a horse go off at a price, this was favorite at 2.97, so it's a fairly short price favorite. It goes off, and because two horses go out in front and take the lead, and he hangs back in a 3.5 mile race, 10 lengths off the lead, that is nothing, and no reason why that horse should have gone out. And so there was a real high degree of certainty that if you backed Move the Chains at 4.5, 4.7, that you were going to get him come back in, and you were going to get him come back regularly. And until something tells you that it should, that it's got some kind of disadvantage to when it set off, and I couldn't see any apart from just, as I say, being at the back. There's no disadvantage. He's jumping the fences fine. He's lolloping along fine. No, his jockey doesn't look disturbed in any way. He's not getting the hurry up. He's not had the jockey have to show him the whip for not being on the bridle. He was on the bridle. He wasn't showing any signs of distress. Nothing. Just lolloping along 10 lengths off the leaders, and you were getting paid multiple times for that. And you could have scalped that really pretty much, well, for a good 5 jumps, 6 jumps, mile, maybe longer. And don't be too greedy. I often only do it for a very short period. Probably that sort of period I might do it for, as long as there's nothing going on. I don't want to do it for too long because I could be in the middle of backing the horse. And I always try and do the scalp between fences. So just after they've jumped one, back it and look for the lay before the next fence. Then over the next fence, back it, as long as it's drifting out, and then before the next fence, try and lay it. Because you don't want to get with your money on a back, and then for it to unseat or fall at the fence, because then you'll lose all your money. But so that's the only drawbacks, is try to avoid events that may change things entirely. The only other way of doing that is, as they go over the fences, make sure that you only have a lay bet on. So you can do that if, for instance, he's coming into a fence and he's still a long way back, but you're on that lay side, because you've got this corridor, haven't you? You've got this corridor here, which you're saying is something like 3.2 to 4.7. So you've got 3.2 to 4.7. Say he was down at 3.2 and still 10 lengths back. You might want to say, okay, well, I'll lay in before that fence, because he might fall over and I'll get my whole stake. But I'm not really one for doing that. I'm one for saying back him or just after he's jumped the fence, and as long as he's landed fine and it's lolloping along fine, back him as long as it's down in this side of the corridor as well. So back him in this side of the corridor, 4.5. Then you'll see as they lollop along for the next 200 yards before the next fence, he'll come in a bit, then lay him, then back him again, then lay him. Always just try and take a reasonable amount. Don't be too greedy. So maximum I would tend to say you're really going to get and should get, it's about 0.5. I often do 0.3s, 0.25s. That's a lot. If you could do a scalp, a free race at 0.25 on this horse when he was 297 in the space of 20 seconds, you'd be doing it all the time. So why in play are we saying 3 minutes in play, nothing really's changed? You're getting the exact circumstance that you'd be absolutely over the moon to have free race. So long distance chases often I go for. Long distance hurdles are okay. Just make sure that you don't get yourself exposed at points in the race where things might change a lot. So I'm particularly talking about jumping the fences, really. Don't get yourself exposed jumping the fences. Don't have a reasonable size back bet on just before a fence, because if he unseats if he hits one really hard, or if he falls, then your odds are going to move dramatically, and suddenly you are going to be in trouble. So that's my only advice. So thanks for watching. This has been insidetracks.co.uk. We have a website, so there's lots of information for you. We do put up a nap most days. You can go there and get that. You can subscribe to the newsletter, which is you can get 40 days free at the moment. It gives you quite a few trading opportunities. If you did like it, comment. Absolutely love to hear any comments you got. I always try and learn from other people. Subscribe and share this with anybody who you think might be interested. I think this is a great opportunity for most people. If you look out for these sorts of races, the betting should be fairly open, and it should be sort of a long distance race. But if you could find them, and as I say, nothing changes in the first mile or so of the race, you can have some fantastic scalping or back to laying opportunities, and you can make really quite decent money. Cheers, bye bye.